Assalamu alaikum to everybody. This is Zaid and Danish. This is Zaid and Danish.
So we are starting this event. So this event is, first of all, we will like to welcome all of you that you are here, that you spared your time and you are here, and especially to the candidates and representatives of the political parties. So we welcome you all, and in Urdu we say Khush Aamadid. And so this event is being hosted and arranged by PinFin, which is an organization which arranges these type of educational events. So the purpose of this event is to basically familiarize the people of Pakistan here with the political system and basically political representatives of Finland. And this was also very surprisingly good, and like in a very good way surprising for me that it's only been 2.5 years for me to be in Finland. And I got a letter one day that you have a right to vote in Espoo and like Helsinki elections, and I would like to say thank you to all this like Finnish people and Finnish political parties for that thing. So we will formally start this event, and for the welcome message I would like to invite Alim Beg here so he can start the event with his welcome message. Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome everyone to this event. This is the first time we have arranged an event of a political aspect, and I'm really happy to see the positive response we got from the Finnish political parties and the candidates. So I'll just take 2 minutes to talk about two different things. A, what PinFin aims to achieve by this, and how we see moving forward our agenda and what we're trying to achieve. So PinFin has been working, it started around the year 2000, and we've been arranging events around for over a decade now. So this is the largest community gathering of Pakistanis in Finland. And we have an average of about 400 to 300 typically of our event, but this is a special case because this is education and it's the month of Ramadan, so it has had an impact because people are fasting, and in about 2 hours the fast would break. So that has an impact, unfortunately. Nevertheless, we're happy to have you all here who've taken your time out to come today to this not a fun party, but exciting and very, I'm sure it will be fun as well, discussing all these interesting ideas and thoughts. That said, what we aim to achieve is that we believe that, I've been here for over 26 years now, and I do not have the talent to work as a politician. That's a special kind of talent that you need. So I never entered this, but now there are many of Pakistanis who have that capacity and the talent. We want to encourage all Pakistani people, and most of our people in the Pakistani community, we are highly educated, hardworking. You would usually never, it's hard to find a Pakistani who's not doing anything. And we do not like stagnation. We're always moving forward. As a people, we have this fire within us that we want to go further and further. And you will see this in pretty much anyone you meet. We're not satisfied with where we are. We want to go further and have more and better. And it's not just because of the cultural aspect. It's also because we have been, I think, as a people, we've always been an enterprising people. So our agenda for PinFin moving forward is that this is our first event, we would start engaging political parties. I've been in touch with all of the parties except for, and we did not hear from everyone, but most of them. And we will be opening up channels of communications and regular interaction with these political parties and other public figures. And we'll have meet and greet events for them, and we would try to bring our people, us usually, typically what we like to do is eat a lot, talk a lot, have lots of fun. But we would like now to engage that fun with in our adopted host country. Can you please touch that screen a minute? And we'd like to integrate more and more with the Finnish culture. For that, we invite yourselves, who are native Finns and from personalities who are well known in Finland, and then integrate better with the Finnish society. So we believe this is really important for us. that said, I'll not take more time, and thank you so much for coming. We will first start with the candidates, the Pakistani candidates, and move on to the panel discussion. Thank you so much.
Before that, I guess we have a message from the ambassador of Pakistan to Finland and Sweden. So he sent a recorded message, and we will play that message here on the screen.
बात करने का मौका दिया। ख़ास तौर पे मैं शुक्रिया अदा करना चाहता हूँ मुंतज़मीन का, जिन्होंने आज की अहम इजलास को बुलाने के लिए कोशिश की। और सबसे पहले तो मैं ये कहना चाहता हूँ कि हुकूमत पाकिस्तान को और वसीयत सफ़ीर पाकिस्तान मुझे खुद हमेशा से अपनी डायस्पोरा के ऊपर फ़ख्र रहा है। जो डायस्पोरा हमारा नॉर्डिक रीजन में है, ख़ास तौर पे जो फिनलैंड में और स्वीडन में मुकीम हमारे पाकिस्तानी भाई और बहनें हैं, वो बहुत ज़्यादा बासलाहियत, तालीम याफ्ता और अकाम्प्लिश पाकिस्तानीज़ हैं, और हमें उनकी सलाहियतों के ऊपर हमेशा से नाज रहा है। हमें उनकी कामयाबियों के ऊपर हमेशा से खुशी होती है, फ़ख्र होता है, और आप सारे पाकिस्तान की नेकनामी में, पाकिस्तान की शोहरत बढ़ाने में अपना किरदार अदा कर रहे हैं। और इनफैक्ट आप सब के सब बहसीत सफ़ीर पाकिस्तान की नेकनामी में अपना किरदार अदा कर रहे हैं, जिसके लिए मैं आपका शुक्रिया अदा करना चाहता हूँ। आज की ये महफिल ख़ास तौर पे बहुत अहम है, क्योंकि आज आप सब जो यहाँ पे जमा हैं, वो इस बात की अक्कासी करता है कि आप ना सिर्फ अपनी हाल पे खुश हैं, अपनी मुआशी तरक्की, मुआशी कामयाबी को सेलिब्रेट करना चाहते हैं, बल्कि आप अपने लिए, अपने बच्चों के लिए आने वाले कल के बारे में सोचने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं। ये एक जायज़ बात है। आमतौर पर ये समझा जाता है कि अपने वतन से लोग हिजरत करके दूसरे ममालिक में जाते हैं ताकि वो मुआशी आसूदगी हासिल कर सकें, करियर डेवलपमेंट कर सकें, और वो सारी माली फ़वाइद हासिल कर सकें जो उनको अपने मुल्क में उस वक्त मुयसर नहीं है। और ये एक जायज़ बात है, इसके लिए कोशिश करना बेहद जायज़ है, और उस पर कोई दो राय नहीं। लेकिन हिजरत का मकसद महज मुआशी आसूदगी नहीं होना चाहिए। ख़ास तौर पर इन मुआशरों में जो जमहूरी मुआशरे हैं, जैसे कि फिनलैंड का मुआशरा है, इंतहाई तरक्की याफ्ता जमहूरी मुआशरा है, जहाँ पे सबको सब तरह की तरक्की करने के लिए यकसा मौक़े हासिल हैं, चाहे वो मुआशी तरक्की है, चाहे वो सियासी तरक्की है, या तालीमी मैदान और रिसर्च तहकीक की बात है। तो आप लोग बड़े खुशकिस्मत हैं कि आप फिनलैंड में आपने अपना दूसरा घर बनाया, और आज जिस मकसद के लिए आप यहाँ पे जमा हैं, वो भी बेहद अहम है कि आप अपने आप को एक सियासी कम्युनिटी के तौर पे बेदार करना चाहते हैं। और मुझे ये बड़ी खुशी है जब मुझे इस एक्टिविटी के बारे में बताया गया, तो मुझे बड़ा अच्छा लगा जान के कि हमारी जो फिनलैंड में जो कम्युनिटी है वो सियासी तौर पर बेदार हो रही है। आने वाले अगले चंद दिनों में यहाँ पे लोकल इलेक्शंस हो रहे हैं, और इसमें आपकी शमूलियत बेहद अहम है। और क्यों अहम है? देखिए, जो इलाकाई जो लोकल गवर्नमेंट्स होती हैं किसी भी मुल्क में, वो बड़े अहम फैसले करती हैं जो हमारी ज़िंदगियों को बराह रास्त मुतासर कर सकते हैं। वो तालीम के बारे में फ़ैसले करती हैं, वो सेहत के बारे में फ़ैसले करती हैं, वो हाउसिंग फैसिलिटीज़ के बारे में फ़ैसले करती हैं। ये जो सारे फ़ैसले हैं जो हमारी ज़िंदगियों को बराह रास्त मुतासर करते हैं। तो इसके लिए बड़ा ज़रूरी है कि हम हैसियत कम्युनिटी, चाहे हम दूसरे मुल्क से आए हैं, उस सियासी एक्टिविटी में अपना भरपूर किरदार अदा करें। और इसके लिए मुझे सुन के बड़ा अच्छा लगा कि इस दफ़ा जो लोकल इलेक्शंस हो रहे हैं फिनलैंड में, उसमें बहुत सारे पाकिस्तानी हैसियत कैंडिडेट के भी इलेक्शन लड़ रहे हैं, जो कि बड़ी खुश आइन बात है। ये एक इब्तिदा है, और मुझे बड़ी उम्मीद है कि इंशाल्लाह आने वाले महीनों और सालों में पाकिस्तानी कम्युनिटी जो फिनलैंड में है वो एक सियासी कुव्वत के तौर पे नमदार होगी। تو اس کے لیے جو چند اہم تجاویز ہیں I'm sure آپ لوگوں نے آپس میں بات چیت کی ہے اور آگے بھی کریں گے کہ آپ کو سب سے پہلے تو جتنے بھی پاکستانی یہاں پہ ہیں جن کو ووٹ کا حق حاصل ہے ان کو چاہیے کہ وہ اپنے آپ کو ووٹر کے طور پہ رجسٹر کروائیں اور پھر اپنے جو کنسٹیچوئنسی ہے ان کے امیدواروں کے بارے میں ریسرچ کریں، ان کے بارے میں ان کے ویوز جاننے کی کوشش کریں، ان کی پرائرٹیز کو سمجھنے کی کوشش کریں اور یہ دیکھیں کہ کیا ان کی پرائرٹیز آپ کی ضروریات سے ہم آہنگ ہیں، اور اگر نہیں ہے تو آپ ان کے اجلاس میں جائیں اور اپنے مسائل اور اپنی امیدوں کے بارے میں ان سے بات کریں، اپنی ایکسپیکٹیشنز کے بارے میں ان سے بات کریں. اور سب سے اچھی بات تو یہ ہوگی کہ آپ میں سے وہ حضرات جو اپنے آپ کو اس اہل سمجھتے ہیں وہ خود اس میدان میں اتریں اور بحیثیت کینڈیڈیٹ کے امیدوار کے الیکشن میں حصہ لیں. اور مجھے امید ہے کہ آپ اس قابل ضرور ہیں اور آپ اتنے اس معاشرے میں اتنے اچھی طریقے سے رچ بس چکے ہیں کہ آپ کی آواز پہ فن لینڈ کے لوگ بھی آپ کو لبیک کہیں گے. اور آپ اگر کمیونٹی کے لیے کوئی بات کریں گے جو کہ لوگوں کی بھلائی کے لیے بات ہوگی، لوگوں کی ترقی کے لیے بات ہوگی، تو آپ کو اس کی پذیرائی ملے گی. تو مجھے یہ بتایا گیا کہ اس دفعہ جو الیکشن ہونے جا رہے ہیں اس میں چند پاکستانی جو ہیں وہ حصہ لے رہے ہیں اور خاص طور پہ ایک شاید 19 سالہ نوجوان لڑکی جو پاکستان سے جس کا تعلق ہے وہ بھی اس الیکشن میں حصہ لے رہی ہے. ہمارے اسکالرز اس الیکشن میں حصہ لے رہے ہیں، ہمارے کچھ بزنس کمیونٹی کے حضرات اس میں حصہ لے رہے ہیں. تو یہ بڑی ہی خوشحالی بات ہے. یہ ایک ابتدا ہے اور آنے والے دنوں میں، آنے والے سالوں میں میں یہ دیکھ رہا ہوں کہ پاکستانی کمیونٹی جو فن لینڈ میں ہے وہ ایک اہم سیاسی قوت بن کے ابھرے گی اور جو اہم پالیسی سازی ہے، جو فیصلہ کنندگان ہوں گے، جو جہاں پہ اہم فیصلے کیے جائیں گے لوکل لیول کے یا نیشنل لیول کے، اس میں ہمارے پاکستانی بھائی اور بہنوں کا ایک اہم کردار ہوگا. تو آپ کو ایک دفعہ پھر میں اس بات کی مبارکباد دینا چاہتا ہوں کہ آپ یہاں پہ ایک اہم مقصد کے لیے جمع ہیں اور میں آپ کو یہ کہنا چاہوں گا کہ آپ اس میں بڑھ چڑھ کے حصہ لیں اور ایز اے کمیونٹی اپنے دوسرے دوستوں تک یہ بات پہنچائیں جو آج یہاں پہ موجود نہیں ہیں، کیونکہ آپ کی جو 8-9 ہزار کی پریزنس ہے فن لینڈ میں وہ اسی وقت معنی خیز بن سکتی ہے جب ہم ایکٹیولی اور بھرپور طریقے سے سیاسی میدان میں بھی اتریں، جبکہ آپ نے آلریڈی تعلیمی میدان میں اور اپنے کریئر کی اکمپلشمنٹ میں اپنا لوہا منوا لیا. تو یہ ایک سیکنڈ سٹیج ہے آپ کے کریئر کی، آپ کے سیکنڈ ہوم میں، جس میں اب آپ نے پورے جذبے کے ساتھ، پوری پلاننگ کے ساتھ اترنا ہے. اور ہم دعا گو ہیں آپ کی کامیابی کے لیے اور آپ کی امپورٹنس اور آپ کے جو ریکگنیشن ہے جو ڈیزرو کرتے ہیں آپ اس معاشرے میں، اس کے حصول کے لیے آپ کو میں ایک دفعہ پھر مبارکباد دیتا ہوں اور دعا کرتا ہوں کہ آپ کی آج کی محفل کامیاب ہو. بہت بہت شکریہ.
Thank you so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the time to call Pakistani candidates that are contesting elections from Helsinki and Espoo on the stage. They will come one by one on the stage and share their manifestos with you. So I'm going to start with Dr. Nadeem Asghar. He is contesting election from Espoo and from the party, Social Democratic Party. The stage is all yours.
Hi everybody, Assalamu alaikum to all Muslimin, happy Ramzan. So basically, Nadeem Asghar, I'm a chairman of Finland Pakistan Professional Association and I'm also the board member of both Finland, and I'm also a philanthropist and I have been actively engaged in community service for the last 17-18 years. So the reason to be in the politics here is, all part of the diversity, but then the changes can be sometime good and sometime bad, and you need to adopt with those changes. And no matter how much you think about it, how much you talk about it, if you're not the part of the policy making, that is useless. So that's the main thing to be part of the politics, that we can create an impact and we can play our role being a citizens or the residents here. And the most important thing when we started it, the first of all, the lack of awareness among the masses about the importance of the politics. many people, it's not only about our community, in many communities, they take or undermine the politics a lot. They don't take it so seriously, and that's the reason that when they don't vote, then of course, those who get the vote, they make the government. I'm here I'm not being introduced with every one of you, but I believe that every kind of party people are here, but I give a very naive example. For example, West End. So if you go to the West End, the turnover there is almost around 100. But if you go to Sovela, then the turnover is always 30 or 35. So the thing is that those who vote, they can make the government. So if we are the immigrants, we have to take interest and we have to vote. This is very important, no matter to whom you are voting, but the first thing is to vote. And the second thing is, which is very important to understand, that at this moment, of course, the SDP is the only party which is very immigrant free. Of course, there are other parties who are also having their chapters for the immigrants, but SDP has a long history of welcoming immigrants. And of course, now, if I talk about my own manifesto, I'm talking about the climate change, I'm talking about the integration and immigration, and also the issues of which affect the daily life. And when you talk about the daily life, then if you're Espolinen, have you visited by Vostos this medical emergency over a weekend? It's terrible situation there. There is only one doctor for there are many people who spend overnight there and their turn didn't come. So that's why we need a better healthcare, we need a better immigration policies. Espoo is one of the most sustainable city in the world, but still when we talk about the climate change, still it's not up to date. So there are many issues we can think and we can talk, but most important reason to be here is to create the awareness of the importance of the politics among the masses. So I highly request all of you to please go and vote. Feel free to vote anybody, no problem, you can vote. But before voting, please read the agenda, read the manifesto, and to whom you like, please vote. Of course, I'm from the SDP, so I would highly recommend vote for the SDP, but of course you have right to read everything. One important thing is many people actually, they don't know whether they can vote or not. In these municipal elections, anybody can vote who has been in the Finland for 2 years and Espoo is living for more than 51 years and of course is 18 plus in age. So with this important thing, I would relate this story with some other community. I won't mention the name of one community, but in our neighboring community. So they were like us and they were not taking any interest in the politics, but recently they start taking interest, and now the entire community is taking a lot interest. And if you go to their this kind of events, it's always full. So this is the time for us to think that being a Pakistani community, we need to realize, and no matter whoever is organizing event, we should go and we should cooperate with each other, because at the end of the day, we are it's a reality that we are the Pakistani Finns and we are living here, so this is our homeland. So we need to think about the betterment of the city and betterment of the Finland. The SDP manifesto is the fairer Finland, and my campaign is talk about the fairer Espoo, because we believe that all the policies which made should be transparent and really fair with the people. Whether it comes for the healthcare, it comes with the education, quality education, or even it comes with the climate change. So it's super, super important for us to go and vote. So you can have a look on the time. How much time I have?
Just 1 minute.
1 minute, okay. 1 minute is good, so thanks. You can ring the bell then, no? So actually, I don't want to make bored. I always hit the topic with the main thing. So the main thing is go and vote for someone you like. It can be anybody, it can be of any party even, but please go and vote, and please take this vote seriously. Try to understand the importance of the vote. In Pakistan, if there is 1 vote missing or 2 votes missing, nothing happens. But in Finland, 1 vote matters a lot, because the overall population is 5.5 million. So we need to realize that now being living in a country for the years, now we are the citizens here, so we have a huge responsibility to play earlier it's been said that the Pakistani community is doing wonders in every field. For example, we are the 4 brothers and we are the world record holders of having the maximum number of PhDs in Finland. So it's a world record. And there are many others who are doing really great in IT field in this even artificial intelligence and medical field, and almost every field you find the Pakistani. The only missing thing was politics. So it's really good that now there are many Pakistani candidates in the politics too, and we need to work together. We need to facilitate each other and have a really good spirit and go to the elections and vote. And please tell to your siblings, your family members, your friends to vote. Right? Okay.
Thank you.
You're going to vote first for SDP, right?
I guess I will first listen to all the candidates and I will.
Don't listen, read the manifesto. Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Now I would like to invite Aisha Mahmood, 19 years old candidate from SDP, and she's been in Helsinki Youth Council and has been working in a lot of different positions. So I would like her to come and give a talk.
अस्सलाम वालेकुम। मैं अभी शुरुआत में ही कह दूँ, मैं इधर ही पैदा हुई हूँ, जिसकी वजह से मेरी उर्दू लैंग्वेज इतनी स्ट्रॉन्ग नहीं है। अगर आप लोगों को कोई लफ्ज़ समझ ना आए तो ज़रूर पूछ लेगा। इधर आ जाऊँ बीच में। मैं हूँ आयशा महमूद, 19 years old from Helsinki. I am a candidate in upcoming municipal elections. Right now, I am Helsinki's youngest candidate from the SDP political party. मुझे बचपन से ही शौक़ है हर सवाल का जवाब पूछना, और कई सवालात अपनी माँ से किए हैं। इसी वजह से मैं अपने सारे सवालात बाकी लोगों से भी करना चाहती हूँ। एग्जाम्पल, बस टिकट्स इतने हाई प्राइसेस क्यों हैं, या फिर स्कूल में रेसिज्म क्यों है। इंशाल्लाह उम्मीद है कि वो भी वक्त आएगा जब मैं खुद इन सवालातों के जवाब दे पाऊँ। I have been for the past 6 years in the Helsinki Youth Council and worked as a chair, vice chair and second vice chair. Also, I have been doing many different things. I am the only one who has been there for 6 years. इस वक्त elections में 3 main themes हैं मेरे: mental health, racism and public transport. Mental health is very important. तकरीबन हर एक स्टूडेंट को mental health problems होती हैं। बहुत से स्टूडेंट्स डिप्रेशन में चले जाते हैं और गलत रास्ता चुन लेते हैं। उस दौरान पेरेंट्स इतनी मदद नहीं कर पाते। स्टूडेंट्स को साइकोलॉजिस्ट एंड थेरेपिस्ट की ज़रूरत होती है। आजकल ये सब बहुत मुश्किल से मिलता है। आई वांट कि ये सब ज़्यादा इजी हो जाए इन द फिनलैंड कम्युनिटी। Therefore everyone can easily live stress free. Racism is also important. हम लोग फिनलैंड में 40 साल भी बिता लें, हमें फिर भी रेसिज्म कहीं ना कहीं दिख जाता है। लोग हमें जज करते हैं स्कूल में या फिर वर्क प्लेसेस में, सिर्फ इसलिए क्योंकि हम अलग दिखते हैं। I don't think so that is right. I want कि फिनलैंड में रेसिज्म ख़त्म हो जाए और न्यू रूल्स आएँ इसके हवाले से। जब कुरान की ये लोग बेहुरमती करते हैं तो सब खामोश हो जाते हैं। ये एक्सेप्टेबल नहीं है। हर एक को राइट है रिलीजियस लिबर्टी पे, इसलिए I want racism to stop as soon as possible. Last but not least, public transport. बस टिकट प्राइसेस बहुत हाई हो चुकी हैं। Yes, वो 1 घंटे से ज़्यादा हैं, लेकिन over 3 euros for one way is too much. इसी प्राइस में हम लोग टैक्सी में भी सफ़र कर सकते हैं। Public transport tickets should be lower as before. मेरी ख्वाहिश है कि टिकट्स और चीप हो जाएं, कि सब लोग अफोर्ड कर पाएं। Also, I want कि public transport हर जगह चले। बहुत से ऐसे इलाके हैं जहाँ बसेस जाती ही नहीं है, and I don't think so that's good. And of course, आप सब लोगों ने विंटर में नोटिस किया होगा कि बसेस टाइम से लेट होती हैं या फिर बहुत कैंसिल हो जाती हैं। ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए, क्योंकि हम में से कोई भी फिनलैंड की ठंड में मरना नहीं चाहता। इसलिए अब आप सब लोगों का वक्त है कि मुझे ज़रूर वोट कीजिए 13 अप्रैल को, या फिर सपोर्ट कीजिए। एवरी वोट एंड सपोर्ट मैटर्स। हम सब हेलसिंकी को मिलकर बेहतर बनाते हैं। अगर कोई सवाल हो तो बाद में ज़रूर कीजिएगा। थैंक यू फॉर योर टाइम एंड थैंक यू फॉर लिसनिंग।
Okay, the next one is Waqar Safar. He's been living in Espoo since 2017 and he's also been contesting election from Espoo.
Hello everyone. Before I formally introduce myself, I would like to use this opportunity to thank especially Aleem for organizing this and giving all of us an opportunity to express ourselves, and the entire administration or managing members of PinFin. And I think thank you so much for arranging this great event for just for us to express ourselves, but also for everyone to have a more knowledge about what are the ideologies of the other political parties. My name is Bakar Zafar, and I have lived in Finland for nearly 10 years. And since 2017, I call this wonderful city Espoo my home. And by profession, I'm an entrepreneur. I have two startups. First, I have a recruitment firm, and secondly, I'm a partner in a private healthcare services provider. Above all, since childhood, I have a deep passion to advocate, especially for the minority population in a majority population. And why is that? Because I'm basically from Pakistan. I'm from the religious minority, Pakistani Christian. I have, for almost for a decade in Pakistan, I have served and as a political advocate within my country and my community. And I understand the challenges and the dynamics of minority population, especially living with the majority population, and it's very important to have representation. I joined Finnish politics shortly after arriving in Finland. I came as a student. I have a master's degree in research chemistry, and I contested as a student union representative, and I got elected, and I served on the council and board of University of Eastern Finland for 2 years, and then I moved here, and since then I have been an active member of SDP, and especially since I believe in the political integration of immigrants living in Finland. So along with my friends, we started this SDP International. The basic idea at SDP International is to facilitate the political integration of immigrants and multicultural or the international residents living in Finland into the Finnish political system. And I am a big, the reason is that entire my life I have been living in a minority setup back home in Pakistan and here. So I understand the challenges and my entire political life experience has been in such setups. So especially I believe that in Espoo, and I'm a candidate for the municipal elections in Espoo, and I'm the only Pakistani candidate in the county election from the Western Usima region. By profession, I'm a sairaanhoitaja opiskelija, so I'm a nursing student hoping to graduate within 2 weeks. And I understand, I have worked in the system for 2 years, so I understand the discrimination that the immigrants of the international community feel and go through. And I think having being through the system as a service provider and being as a person who received the services, so I have understood from the both sides, and I think that this experience is quite valuable if I'm able to be in a place to make decisions, especially when it comes to have a fairer society, fair service provider facilities that the both councils will be doing in the near future. Well, for the elections, the things that I am going to, which are the key issues for me, I have been working from a long time before being a candidate, and I believe that it is now the time for me to move from a political network within a party to in a decision-making council, because I think to lobby and to network for some cause within a political party is different, and then to be a part of a system which provides services is different. And it is very important for us to go through both systems, because that's the only way we can make difference, because creating awareness is very important, but being able to deliver that through the system, you have to learn the system, you have to be part of the system. And I think the reason I can congratulate PinFin is that our community need to understand the political system of Finland. It is not a simple one, especially if you get elected or if you're part of everything. If after the elections, the negotiations are very hard on all forms, like on the student union level, municipal, county, and parliament, everything comes in coalitions. Getting things done is not easy job in Finland. It has to. You need to lobby a lot, you need to convince your own party, you need to convince your people who are around you to get things done. So on that thing, I think I have been part of the system, and my expertise lies in political lobbying and networking. And I think the key issues for me this term are three. First, we as an immigrant, doesn't matter if you're Pakistani, Indian, from any region, we face discrimination in hiring. So this is established fact that
Sorry to interrupt you, Bakar. It's just your last seconds.
Okay, so at last but not the least, I would like to use this opportunity to say this, that Espoo can potentially be a model city for immigrants, for innovation, for economic growth, and I believe that inclusion is the solution, and together we can do better, and we need to eliminate the differences between all the communities, because that's the only way to move forward, and because the political system requires that to work together with everyone. Well, thank you. Have a lovely day.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for sharing your journey and manifesto with us. Now, the last candidate that I'm going to call on stage is Tanveer Ahmed Chaudhary. He's contesting election from Helsinki City Council. He's an entrepreneur by profession.
Hello everyone, Assalamu alaikum. Iba paiba, telekai khilame uske. Okay, this is the day. I am very happy to see you all here. This is a very good opportunity for us as a Pakistani here to come into politics. But I can speak in Urdu. Sorry to, that's because most of people want to hear me. मेरा नाम तनवीर चौधरी है, आप सारे जानते हैं. I can introduce also to them. My name is Tanveer Chaudhary. I am living in Finland 28 years. I came here in 1997. And I am very thankful to Aleem. So he is also very near that time 2000. I think he came like 2000 he came here also, and we work also together. That's बात करने का मकसद ये है कि मैं यहाँ पर जो भी काम कर रहा हूँ, पहले से ऑलरेडी हम लोग एक्टिव हैं पॉलिटिक्स. उस पॉलिटिक्स में तो नहीं है कि मैं इलेक्शन में हिस्सा ले लूँ, लेकिन क्योंकि बहुत सारे लोगों की ख्वाहिश थी कि हमें कोई ना कोई आदमी आगे आना चाहिए और हमें पॉलिटिकल में जाना चाहिए. मैं वैसे तो लोगों के अपने डेली लाइफ में एवरीडे लोगों की हेल्प कर रहा हूँ. हमने मस्जिद बनाई, बाकी कोई भी हो, अगर किसी को कोई डेथ कमेटी का मसला हो, कोई भी मसला हो, किसी के जॉब का मसला हो, तो मैं हमेशा फर्स्ट मेरी प्रायोरिटी होती है कि अपने लोगों की हेल्प करूं और हेल्प कर रहा हूं. और ये इलेक्शन हमारे लिए कोई, क्योंकि मैं कोई उस तरीके से इलेक्शन का कैंडिडेट जिस तरीके से लोग कहते हैं उस तरीके से मेरा शौक नहीं था कि मैं कोई इलेक्शन में जाऊं, लेकिन इस वक्त हमारे लोगों की ज़रूरत बन गई है कि हम इस इलेक्शन में जाएं. और उसकी बुनियादी वजह यही है कि जो पिछले ये जो करंट गवर्नमेंट इसके जो लॉ मेकिंग जो इन्होंने बनाए हैं, वो बहुत सारे लोगों को बहुत ज़्यादा प्रॉब्लम्स आ गई हैं. और मुझे, क्योंकि मैं एक बिजनेसमैन हूँ, मुझे एक बिजनेस चलाता हूँ, और मेरे पास हर रोज़ इतने लोग आते हैं एप्लीकेशन के लिए जिनको जॉब चाहिए. और जॉब इसलिए चाहिए कि अगर वो जॉब नहीं करेंगे तो वो उनको यहाँ से मुल्क जाना पड़ेगा, वापस जाना पड़ेगा. उसमें सिर्फ पाकिस्तानी नहीं है, बंगाली हैं, इंडियन हैं, श्रीलंकन हैं, मुख्तलिफ कम्युनिटीज़ हैं, अफ्रीकन हैं. एवरीबॉडी हैव वेरी वरीड. तो वो उनको वरीड क्या है, उसको यही वरीड है कि अगर उनके पास 3 महीने में जॉब नहीं होगी, उनको मुल्क छोड़ना पड़ेगा, उनका रेजिडेंट परमिट जाएगा. तो ये बहुत बड़ा जो है वो नाइंसाफ़ी हो रही है लोगों के साथ. तो हम समझते हैं कि हम दोबारा, मैं एसडीपी का कैंडिडेट हूँ, एसडीपी को हम स्ट्रांग करें और दोबारा उसको हम पावर में लाएं. और जब हम पावर में लाएंगे तो ये जितने लॉ हैं जो मैं समझता हूँ जहाँ नाइंसाफ़ी हो रही है, जो इमिग्रेंट्स के साथ नाइंसाफ़ी हो रही है, उन लॉ को ख़त्म किया जाए, उनको बैक किया जाए, ताकि लोग यहाँ पर रहें. क्योंकि मैं ये समझता हूँ ज़ाती तौर पर कि मुझे 28 ईयर हो गए फिनलैंड में रहते हुए, और मैं अपने आप को फिनलैंड का फिनिश शहरी समझता हूँ. यहाँ ही मुझे रहना है, मेरे बच्चों को भी यहाँ रहना है. तो लिहाजा मुझे वापस तो जाना नहीं है. लिहाजा मैं इस मुल्क ने मुझे बहुत कुछ दिया, मुझे एजुकेशन दी, मुझे अच्छा बिजनेस दिया, मुझे सब कुछ मेरे पास है, फैमिली है यहाँ पर. लेकिन एक चीज़ जो लोगों को इसमें जो नए आ रहे हैं उनके लिए जो प्रॉब्लम्स हैं, वो हम जो पुराने यहाँ रह रहे हैं, हमें उनकी प्रॉब्लम को सॉल्व करना है. इस वजह से मैं इलेक्शन में आया हूँ. और मुझे उम्मीद है कि यहाँ पर ज़्यादातर एस्पोस हैं जो हेलसिंकी से हैं. आप सब लोग मुझे जानते हैं ज़ाती तौर पर. मेरा वो ऐसा तारुफ कराने की मुझे ज़रूरत नहीं कि मेरा क्या मैनिफेस्टो होगा. मेरा मैनिफेस्टो वही है जो आप लोगों की खिदमत करना, और मैं लोगों की खिदमत करना जो अपने लिए फ़ख्र महसूस करता हूँ एज ए पाकिस्तानी कम्युनिटी. तो इंशाअल्लाह ताला ये हमारा सफ़र जारी रहेगा. मसलन वाहन suomeksi myöskin, miksi me ollaan nyt täällä politiikassa. Koska meillä myös on täällä niin paljon ihmisiä, kuka tuli sieltä, ja mä myös itse vuonna 1997 tuli Suomeen. Mutta okei, täällä oli kaikki asia meni tosi hyvin, mutta viime aikoina nyt on niin paljon laki muuttuu, se muuttuu niin paljon, ihmisillä on pelkoa, se on niin paljon ihmisille semmoinen, mä joka päivä mulle tulee niin paljon hakemuksia, kuka tarvii työtä. Sen takia, koska heillä on pieni lapsia, heillä ei ole täällä työpaikkoja. Jos heillä ei ole työpaikkaa, he pakko pitää heidän oleskelulupa peruutettu tai se pitää lähteä takaisin. Ja heillä koko perhe, lapset täällä. Sen takia mä tulin nyt tässä politiikassa. Halutaan se, että kaikki muuttutaan. Ihan kaikki tarkistetaan oikeasti, koska tämä on meille, mitä se ulkomaille tulee tänne, se tekee tosi kova työtä, hyvä duuni. Täällä esimerkiksi pakistanilainen, se on kaikilla ihan hyvä. Esimerkiksi on opettanut täällä PhD-doctors, se on kaikilla ihan hyvä elämä täällä. Ja mä halutan täällä myöskin, mutta koska mä sanon minä itse, nyt on 28 vuotta asu täällä Suomessa, tää on mun maa. Mä halutan tässä maassa vähän parempi, kaikki meille yhdessä pystyy tekemään täällä työtä. Ja realempi, täällä meillä on fairness, we need this to work together. Thank you very much, this is my message to you. Have a nice day.
Thank you, Tanvisa. So this was the speeches from the Pakistani candidates who are contesting elections in Helsinki and Espoo. Now is the time for panel discussion. So for the moderation, I will like to invite Alim Beg here so that he can moderate this discussion.
Okay, this is the time to invite all the candidates on the stage. I'll call you one by one. The first one is Armando Mimma. He's they're contesting elections from the Green Party and having a vast experience with the United Nations organization. Please welcome him on stage.
Now I would like to invite Larry Kangas from SDP. Sorry if I am not pronouncing your name like that. And he's an active member of SDP for over 30 years and he's a serial entrepreneur. So please welcome.
The third one on the panel is Päivi Pontela. She's contesting elections from the Swedish People's Party of Finland. Please welcome her on stage.
The next one is Pauliina Puukarainen, Left Alliance, and I will like to invite her on the stage so that he can be part of this panel also. Welcome.
The last candidate is Tariq Hasanullah. He's contesting election from Kokoomus party. He's a lawyer running from the Helsinki City Council. Welcome on the stage.
Welcome.
So this should be fun. I think this is the idea of this discussion is that we meet as friends and we try to learn from you. I mean, we have lived our lives as immigrants, and that's a different landscape. We go a different life cycle, and we have different view, different issues that we face. And you, gentlemen and ladies, was from the other side of the landscape. You have a different ideas and vision. So we want to learn from you. That's basically the idea of this discussion, is that we want to hear and understand and learn.
Let me try.
So, right. So what we're going to discuss today, essentially, as I said, the most important topic for us as immigrant Pakistani Finns, I should call ourselves, of origin, is economy. As everyone else is like Bill Clinton said, that it's economy. It's all about economy. So we would first like to start with you, Tariq, because you represent the power corridors at the moment. So we want to hear from you, why is there such a huge discontent in the society because of the economic conditions and the economic changes that you have, the Kokoomus party, not yourself, have implemented, has caused huge amount of resentment in the society. Was it really needed? Or have you thought about, was the party prepared for this kind of a backlash? The kind of impact the changes that you have been implementing is having? Or what exactly is the plan?
Well, thank you. Now, yes. Yeah. It's quite loud. Okay, yeah. Well, I'll speak quiet and far away. First of all, nice to meet you. Maybe a few words of my background. I'm also a son of an immigrant, so of course know something about the immigrant life. And my father came here 60 years ago from East Pakistan, now Bangladesh, of course. But so I know and how the immigrants feel. Myself, I'm a native Finn. I feel 100% Finnish, and yeah, you had a lot of tough questions, and of course, yeah, the economics are really tough in Finland now. But I wouldn't say it's a fault of Kokoomus or the central government nowadays. I heard that there are a lot of entrepreneurs and businessmen in your community. Let's see if it gets better. Yeah, maybe turn it a bit lower. So. Let's try. Is this better? No. Now better. Okay. Maybe it's good enough. Okay.
You can swear.
Yeah. Thanks. So about the economy, well, first of all, yeah, there are a lot of entrepreneurs and highly educated people. So of course, I think Kokoomus is maybe the only party in Finland which is always against raising taxes. So I think there are a lot of SDP. I heard you, Alan, talking about the taxes before this panel, and that's something I want to emphasize, that at least in Helsinki, the SDP, which we have many people here, have tried to increase taxes many years. I've been there 8 years in Helsinki city politics, and almost every year SDP and the Left Alliance and the Greens, they try to increase taxes, but we are strongly against that, and we will be against the tax raises during the next term also. But what I feel is really important for the economy is to grow, and I myself, I'm a very pro-immigrant, and I find that the immigrant people and the community in Helsinki must grow, must thrive, and I think we have to get the emphasis on integrating the people. So thank you for this kind of event. It's great to have and to see immigrant background people trying to integrate the Finnish society. I think it makes Finland and its cities more viable, and that's really good also for the economy to have more immigrants, because we Finns, we are getting older and we're not having enough children, so we need immigrants. That's 100% sure.
So Les, if you want to weigh in on that, I mean, how do you feel? What are the current issues? You're representing Left Alliance.
Left Alliance, yes.
So, and you have been in the previous government, and so there was a carryover of the economic package from there as well. So, what are your views of the economic conditions and the changes that the Kokoomus party coalition is implementing? Do you agree with them, or do you think those are necessary?
We are like opposite. Yes. And I think this tax question is about if you need to have certain services for the people who live in Finland. It's like we need to raise taxes, but it's not the number one purpose or the way to improve the life quality in Finland. So, and at least, even though I'm from Nurmijärvi, so it's not Espoo, it's not big city, it's 35 kilometers from here, it's countryside, but we have like Kokoomus is the biggest party there, and we have had to raise the taxes every year there. So it's not about the party, the tax question. That's my answer.
Okay. Would you perhaps weigh in on the unemployment situation because of the downturn in the economy and the interest rates hike? How do you see that? How does your party, Swedish party, which is part of the government at the moment, so did you foresee this, and what are the plans of the government and your party to improve the conditions, economic conditions in terms of unemployment?
Okay, thank you. So I agree with that the economic situation in Finland is tough. So we do need to save. We need to do some harsh cost cuttings, but it's not just costs. We should also look into productivity issues. How can we create more income? And the current business situation, economic situation, is a little bit tough because of the downturn. I can't talk too much about the national level, but talking about Espoo. So in Espoo, we actually have at the moment 17,000 unemployed people. That's a lot. And there are 600 open positions publicly. So 600 jobs and 17,000 unemployed people. The unemployment at the moment is 10.9 in Espoo, but among immigrants it's 21%. So there is a difference, and that means that we really need to find new means. How can we solve this problem? Of course, we hope that economy will become better as well. That will help. But one thing that I see a big opportunity is that the unemployment office, we call it TE-keskus, moved under communities, under municipalities. So that gives us opportunity to really look into the productivity, the way how we give the services. Can we come up with new services? Can we come up with something that will increase and attract new companies? Because when you have unemployment people, the problem is that we don't have the jobs. So we need entrepreneurs. We need much more companies to grow. We need to help them to grow, to hire people, to hire the first person. And then we come to the point that we have foreigners that do not speak Finnish. And we need to teach the companies to take the opportunity to hire, and we can help to learn Finnish or Swedish, to learn that the companies need skillful people, and that's more important than the language. And since I come from the Swedish-speaking party, I'm not a Swedish speaker myself, so I don't speak Swedish, but it's a liberal party, and it actually comes from a minority group of people, so they know what it is to be a minority. So we do see that there are a lot of other means. I don't want to take too much time, but definitely we need companies, we need entrepreneurship in order to have more jobs, and then we need more services so that the jobs and the skillful people can find each other, and then we can find people who have the passion and the competence of that job, not just any job, but a job that they like to do, and a job where they can fill their meaningful purpose. So that's definitely, there's a lot of things to do.
Yes, Lauri, please. So you represent SDP, and
yes,
please go on.
So maybe I'll try to summarize a little bit here. Taxes. It's the best way to sell and try to get votes and say that low taxes, great services, low taxes, let's not pay anything. Let's get great school service, let's get great public health service, and let's get the roads sorted, let's get police working efficiently, and all support systems in place. Let's have a welfare state, but not pay taxes. Well, it doesn't obviously work like that. SDP's traditional line has been that we like progressive taxing, which means that the wealthier pay a larger share in taxes. In percentages, not just in share of euros, but in percentages as well. And in fact, it is a major issue in these municipal elections now in Helsinki. Kokoomus is staunchly against progressive taxing. They like flat taxes, so that the rich will pay the same percentage. I think that the richer should pay higher percentage. And we are the founders or the builders of the welfare state, so we will fight for that we have free education, that we have free healthcare, and everyone will have that, not just the rich who can pay for it. So I think these elections matter a lot. They matter a lot in this case, because we do have a government in place right now that is very right-wing. We voted for it, so all fair, all views. I'm not Donald Trump. I'm not trying to say that, yeah, we lost the election, so we didn't actually lose the election. No, we lost the election, so fair views. Let them run their government the way they want to, and they have been. They have followed up on what they promised, but at the moment it's also starting to affect the municipalities, affecting Helsinki, affecting Espoo, because at this time the government funding, especially after the social services being moved to more to the municipalities and out of the state care, now it means more costs. Now the interesting thing here, and this is really important, it's about taxation. Our federal taxes, income tax, has forever been progressive, right? So the higher you earn, higher percentage you got, right? And it's a sliding scale. But in the municipalities, we've always had flat tax. So it's a brilliant idea of the right to move services to the municipalities because there's flat tax there. So they get their objective of taxation and everybody pays the same percentage. We don't like it. We would like to then increase progressive taxing into the municipalities as well. So there is a fundamental ideological difference here between my colleague here and myself here in Helsinki politics and also in it. So I think, well, that should answer the fundamental question. Not forgetting the entrepreneurship, I believe, as much as SDP as well, and this is where the former coalition between the blue and the red, coalition government where we used to be in government with Kokoomus, we have always liked light entrepreneurship. So which means kevyt yrittäjyys. So we will try to cut red tape from getting a bank account for your business and starting up small businesses as quickly as possible. It's a major issue for immigrant communities as well as anyone else young people who want to start businesses. So I think that is important. We cut that red tape and make the system fair and cut taxes from the very lowest startups before they start earning big money. We should not have the same taxes on the very smallest companies than Konecranes and Nokia and the big ones.
But that's exactly how it is right now. So all corporate taxes are flat.
They are flat, but we would like to make them progressive.
Yeah. But so, has it ever been like that?
Never. It's never been like that, and especially with this change now that most of the burden of tax money spent is now pushed into the municipalities. There's a moment where we can actually change that as well.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Okay, so here a bit away from the mainstream. So you have more radical ideas, I believe. So please.
Yes, thank you for the opportunity to be here. It's always a pleasure to meet people, and especially between different communities. I'm from Albania, but I grew up in Italy. So I came to Finland in 2019, and I've been living experience myself the difficulties of learning the languages and how the life is for immigrants. So in that sense, we have a lot in common. Now talking about economy and taxes, I'm here to represent Vapauden Liitto, which is a small party. We're among the small parties. It's called Freedom Alliance. And now the key point, we live in a world where in order to understand better the reality we live in, we also have, now we are about council elections, but we depend pretty much on what's happening outside Finland. And we had a pandemic time, and then after the coronavirus time, you remember when they closed all the companies, you can not do business as usual during pandemic time. That has affected a lot the economy. And then it started the war in Ukraine, and only because of that Finland had to pay 3,000 million, like 3 billion in aid. So the key point of my party is that we want to bring back Suomen markka, the coin originally from Finland. And the question about taxation, what the government can do is postpone the debts it has for this budget for this year. So it gets the loans from private investors, from banks, from outside, and to balance the cost for this year. So what they do, they borrow money, they take money, they will pay this year debt, they will pay it in 2-3 years. And this has been going on for many countries in Europe, not just for Finland. So we had a point where Greece could not sustain this taxation anymore. So the key point of the economy is when you have your own currency, you can adjust the economy. You can make different taxations, and right now, for example, Finnish government depends from the interest rates that comes from the European Central Bank. So we can talk about businesses, small business, big business, medium, private entrepreneur. Now the key point here is that we have to understand the time we live in. So I wanted to make, I would like to make today more a discussion about trying to better understand, more like cultural, that political, how that has been an idea I had. So the thing is, what the government can do when you depend on money that is not printed by your government, but it is printed from the European Central Bank. I make an example, during Roman Empire time, there was Pompeii city in south of Italy. I don't know, probably many of you know for the history of the volcano that erupted and destroyed all the city. And so at that time, Roman Empire will make their own currency, and everyone who will go to Pompeii will find job, because the government will bring the money and will invest in projects, will build roads, buildings. But now all this, it is basically how I see the government has the hands tied with the economic policies it can make. So they are limited. They cannot go behind certain numbers that also come from Brussels. Brussels says you have to make 3% debt on your budget, like how much you produce in a year, you should not exceed, but those numbers are not realistic numbers. Like if you talk to an economist, you will say that those percentage, like if you get Japan or other countries, especially now that we live in a time of crisis, I will say we live in an economy of war, because European President Ursula von der Leyen said we have to spend 800 billion to rearm Europe. So what I see is that they're taking money from the social services to provide money for the military industry, because we live in an economic time of war. So now the council election, we will say, well, this is about outside politics, but like if you cannot adjust the economy, pretty much the taxes gonna increase. So the average working people, they're going to pay more and more. And every year the budget of the government will keep increasing until there will come Mario Draghi or some savior of Europe that is an economy that tells us that it's time to whatever it takes. When Greece was about to fail because the economy, they could not pay any more back the debts, the public debts of the government, then the European Central Bank had to make an intervention and provide the money to pay. So, thank you.
I understand that. So, okay, this is now. Okay, this is here. Okay, so maybe I think it's that. Can you try to see this? Get back. Okay. Right. So those are regular ideas. I'm sure none of the mainstream agrees with that. But it's good to have different opinions, and it really helps, because when you have ideas that are similar, more or less, and in Finland it seems like the government changes, but the core of the policies essentially remains the same. Correct me if I'm wrong, but the core of the policies seem to follow a singular track. It seems to me like that. So there's no radical changes. The only radical changes that we have seen during the last few election cycles is the rise of the radical right. And that is always a natural phenomenon that happens when there's an economic downturn. So it's unfortunate we couldn't get anyone from the Finnish party here. But there is real discontent in the society, in the way the economy is handled by the mainstream party. That's what has given rise to the far right. And well, of course, there is the anti-immigrant sentiment as well. We'll come to that in a minute. But what I want to understand from Kokoomus and SDP and Vapauden and Left Alliance and Swedish parties, that have you understood the reason for the discontent? And do you have plans? How would you, it seems to me at the moment, for instance, that Kokoomus seems to be coming closer to the right in terms of policies. But how do you see this? What is your party's policies to counter the radical right? Please.
Yeah, I'm a teacher at Kannanmäki Peruskoulu. We have had to stop our annual celebrations of the flag, for example, the Suomen lipun päivä, because there were too many Nazi salutes and too many far-right demonstrations in our school, so we had to stop it. So I appreciate it is a major problem. It's a major problem not only in Finland, but it's a major problem in Europe. It's a major problem obviously in the United States. It's a major problem. I lived in South Africa for a decade and a half. It's a major problem there. So it does stem from the discontent for sure. But it also stems from eroding democratic institutions. It's not just that you you are discontent and then you get political power. Political power is pillared on not just elections, fair elections, free and fair elections, but also a steady political system, political party system that is able to protect itself. At the moment, not all democracies are able to protect themselves from this populist or far-right movements who are there to erode the pillars of democracy. Our judicial system is under attack. Not everybody gets fair treatment in the courts. We already had candidates talking about how they understand discrimination at workplaces. Discrimination and racism is banned in Finland constitutionally. It's banned in constitution. It's banned in yhdenvertaisuuslaki. It is banned in the criminal, in rikoslaki. It's banned in 3 different laws. Yet, we know police in Helsinki has been discovered to be acting racist, blatantly racist in some situations. They have taken care of it internally, but they have still issues to solve. There are institutions of democracy that needs to be preserved. Rule of law is under attack. Elections are under attack. Social media and populist movements are taking outside the democratic system views into politics. And it's a matter of all of us start acting on real information and not on disinformation. So that's the third point, media. Media is under attack. Even in the parliament, there are party members that are discussing that Yle is fake news. Helsingin Sanomat is continuously fake news. You know that the problem is, in that moment, they are starting to erode the pillars of democracy that uphold our freedoms to elect who we wish to elect. So it's not just discontent. It's a consistent attack on the pillars of democracy, and that attack is not only coming from within Finland, it is also coming from outside to try to erode our society. So it's a real issue, and we need to, all of us, all of our parties here, and everyone here listening, should take seriously and should consider what's going on.
That's true, please.
Thank you. Since started sounding like opposite, but in the municipality we don't have opposite and the power, so it's all the parties are on the same line. Even the true Finns agree that we need 200,000 immigrants by the year 2030. That's a lot. Of course, not Espoo is welcoming all of them, but that means that we really need to attract people over here. But we also need to make community feeling. We need to build that vitality so that people stay here. So we wish that people come over here and they are integrated and they become part of the society. And that's something that Espoo is really, really looking into, because we have already 25% of the residents are immigrants. And they're kind of, I want to go to the practical things, because politics is actually practical things. It's schools and food that people eat at school, and parking and sport facilities and all that. That's what politics is all about. So what can we do in order to integrate people better so that everyone has friends across different cultures, and we really promote the multicultural society that we can build over here.
And that is something that the next 4 years of the municipal council needs to start thinking and come up with ideas, and those can be quite practical. It can be that we have mentor families that welcome people over here, so that the coming families can have a local family friends. We need to make sure that we have services in English, we have services in Finnish and Swedish, of course. How can we integrate people actively to the Finnish language and the Swedish language? How can we make sure that the children at school get friends and they get a hobby? Everyone needs to have a hobby, and at the hobby people get friends across different cultures. So there are a lot of things that we can actually do in order to integrate people. But the community feeling and feeling that you're part of the community is really important. That's practical things that we need to do.
Polly, I'll just like to add a bit to that question so that we can make it a bit broader and more specific at the same time, is that we understand the social issues, and what we would love to hear more are what are essentially in place at the moment in your parties, in your party policies, concrete steps that you feel will challenge racism that we all accept exists. It's not just Finland, it's everywhere. It's not a Finland specific issue, but it's a natural human phenomenon. But it seems to be on the rise in Finland. We have the issue of racism, as that Aisha Mahmood mentioned. My boy a lot of us have faced it in one form or the other. So what are the concrete steps in place at the moment in party policies and in municipality that would counter racism? Please.
Thank you. I am a mother of two cultural family. I have children who are Muslims, and they have names that sounds not Finnish. And so I've faced racism with my children. It's increasing. And the most important thing is always it's not about something like, the problem is not the people who are coming here, but the problem is people who live already here, the Finnish people, because it's always in power of the majority to accept and take in people. It's like, I know Romani people. I just had a colleague who's Finnish. She was born in Finland. She speaks Finnish as her mother language, but since she's Romani, she faced racism everywhere she goes. And Romani people are like very warning example of where does the racism lead. Because it's like less than 200 years ago, it was law allowed to kill the Romani person if he came to one's land. And still 50 years ago, Romani children were taken from their families to sorry, my rally English, to foster care, to be raised as a Finnish people. And this is like something that makes border between the people. I mean, how could they trust Finnish people if they were treated like that? And it goes with all the immigrants, I think so. I've seen it also with in my bubble where I live. So for me, the most important thing, it's not something that you make with the law. It's like whenever I see racism, I stand with the person who is a victim. And I say no, I say I don't accept in my work with the people. Sometimes people they use language that is not, I don't accept, but I don't keep any more quiet. I say, I don't accept this here. And then about the law, my children, they were trying to find work, and even training when they were in the school. And because of their name, it was difficult. So practically, I think this anonymous recruitment would be one way to help people to find work. And like to accept it that this land is not only meant for certain kind of people who were coming from Caspian Sea and Ural Mountains. This is my...
All right. I think we will now like to hear from the audience. So if anyone has a question for the panel, please.
There's one.
Hello. Thank you. So my question to the panel, and actually more like a comment first. Personally, I feel problems like racism very, very difficult to take them out of any society. Let's not go for more examples. We already live in Finland. There is discrimination. We have talked about it for years. I believe for different communities who come and live in Finland, their role actually defines their strength. You know, the stronger you are in the community, the better you have impression on everyone. You know, not only not within the urban areas, but also like outside the bigger cities. I've spent time in smaller cities in Finland. Now I've been living in Helsinki metropolitan area for quite some time. I felt that whenever you are more known to the locals in a stronger socio-economic role, you have actually I don't want to say the word respect, but I would say like you are treated better because people know you, and that goes then we can project it to the whole community then if the whole community and immigrant sorry, is it still working?
We just have 15 minutes before iftar.
Sure. So I was just going to say that you know, like to highlight these kind of events where immigrants who are doing like really good, you know, they should be invited to some public events. You know, they like to kind of like make their role more known to the community. And yeah, thanks for the discussion. It was really nice to hear different point of views. Yeah, thank you. But if you want to have any comments on this, thanks.
Yeah, well, if I have my comment,
I think these two might need to be separate.
this one is working? Yeah, better now. So yeah, you know, my name is Tarik. I look like this. Of course, I know about the racism. It's a problem in Finland. It's something you have to oppose. It was nice to hear, for example, from you that every time you see it, you hear it, you oppose it. Don't just take it. Don't be silent. That's something, and that's my message. That's something I've done for a whole of my life. If I hear it, I oppose it. And that's something I think everybody has to do in an individual level. It's sad that you have to do it, but I think that's something that has to be done. And now I think because one of the reasons that we are together, I think this was about to understand the politics in Finland. So I want to now emphasize that everything that we talk, there's just a little bit what's in the municipalities. I think you told very good that, for example, the things you talk about the currency and you talk about if it's progressive taxation, that's something municipalities doesn't decide. Even if you win in Helsinki, you cannot make it progression taxes, because then you have to go to parliament. So because now we are in municipality. No, it's flat tax because of the law, and it will be flat tax. If you want to change it, then you go to parliament, and that's a different elections. We are now in municipal elections, and if we talk about racism and municipal election, what municipalities can do, and what is actually in my election program is that when an immigrant comes to Helsinki, comes to Finland, I think it's our responsibility that we find something to do with him or that they are now in municipalities. So we have now a better chance to find something, and I think that's the best way, and that's also what Kokoomus thinks, that's the best way to integrate people, to get them something to do, to have a work, to have studying, and not just leave home and take social security. So that's something municipalities can do, and that's something I want to see doing better in Helsinki.
Please limit to the question.
Yeah.
Okay, please go on.
What's your party? My question is for Paivi.
Just take this.
Okay, yeah. My question is for Paivi. That what your party is doing for the betterment of healthcare in the municipal in Espoo city and in Helsinki. And Paulina, one comment, you are very brave that you go against the racism. Thank you.
It's easier for me since I'm Finnish.
Yes, thank you.
Okay. All right. So, because the welfare or the healthcare areas are, so Helsinki doesn't have its own. It is just a city, so they are not in the same area as Espoo. So Espoo is together with Kauniainen, Lohja, Tammisaari, Hanko. So it's a quite vast area. But what RKP, so our party is looking into is really the nearby services. And personally as well, I believe that the services are very cost efficient if they are near the people. And now in Finland we divide the basic healthcare, so perusterveydenhuolto, and then we have the specialized healthcare, which is very burdened at the moment. So that is very expensive. That is with all the specialists and hospitals and so on. So we should really focus on the basic healthcare so that we can get rid of the lines, we can get enough doctors with the specialty of basic healthcare. So a lot of the times when young people are specializing in medicine, they specialize to orthopedia or neurology or something else. We don't have enough doctors that have specialized in basic healthcare that looks at the human being as a whole, and then understanding the different connectivities and can direct people to the special healthcare when needed. So that's one thing that we need to take care of. And then those services need to be really close to people where they live. And then we're very much so not closing the smaller towns that are like Tammisaari and Lohja, which are actually not very small. They are very vital and nice cities. Another thing is that I run myself is that I've been living in Holland, where they have 50 million people, and this actually works really well. And they have their own doctors, so the healthcare centers are close to people where they live. And the rule of thumb is that you always have your own doctor, and you go nearby services, and then when needed, you go to the special care. So that's one thing. Another thing is that the private, because the healthcare system has been quite overwhelming, let's say, the administration, so that needs to be cut, and we need to be more productive. Doesn't mean that we decrease the amount of services. It means that we need to be more productive. We need to increase people that are close to patients, so nurses and doctors, but decrease the administration levels that we have. So a friend of mine is a supervisor for nurses, and she's taking care that the schedules for the week are okay. And she says that there are still, after her, there are 5 different levels on top of her. So the supervisor that's 3 steps above her doesn't even know what they're doing. So that's something that we need to really be more productive. We need to save the cost. But it doesn't mean that we save the cost from the services that are offered to patients. There are a lot of other stuff, but I don't go into that.
Okay. Yeah, Rukar, please go ahead.
First of all, happy International Women's Day to all the women in care. I forgot to say that earlier, so I'm going to say that. Secondly, I want to ask a simple question to the government representative, the Swedish People's Parties and Kokoomus. You claim to be pro-immigrant, while the laws, the regulations, and there seem to be discouraging towards the international talent. And people have given you votes and responsibility to govern at the national level. Now, while you're here at the Party of Representatives, what's your take on why would people, especially immigrants, trust you again with the municipalities and the counties when you have done a lot against them on the parliament level? Because your argument was right, it is not parliament, but it is like municipal and county. But what different would you do, which you haven't done before, to trust our support and vote in these elections? Thank you.
Just before the gentlemen and ladies give answer to that, I believe that when people vote, whether it's in municipal elections or national elections, the votes are based on the perception of the parties. So if a party is considered to be on the left, then the voter leaning towards left would vote in that direction, whether in municipal or national elections. So the reason why we want to understand the broader policies that the parties have is because that's how people vote, because they understand that SDP has these policies, and when you drill down into the municipal level as well, that would be implemented. So that's why we would love to hear a bit more about the party's policy positions in general as well. Please, whoever wishes to take that. Maybe,
what is the question, actually? Sorry.
To understand what's the general view of the party, to understand better, like if I'm a voter from the left or why for example,
I can start with
yeah, so it would go to Tarek and then
May I put it in the words like that? So, for example, like services that you guys were talking about, like health services, you want to make. So in the previous government, they had to plan out health reform, correct? And now, in this new election, or in the new government, they have been talking that those reforms that they did back to the health services. How this is going to happen from now on onward, how to improve these services. The other thing is that if you start cutting all these budgets for these different services, when the Kokoomus states that we should reduce the taxes, and the other parties say no, we should increase the taxes to keep the services. How this message you try to communicate to the rest of us, whether raising the taxes will be good and kind of providing those services to the people as you're done. So this is one question which you can try to explain. And the other thing is that
Jagdish, sorry, we just have 5 minutes left.
2%. This is one. And the other question is that people have their own liking, disliking, discrimination, whatever, on the personal level. We cannot fix everything, and we need to also understand that. But if that discrimination happens at the bureaucracy level, so if you call health center and you tell your name differently, and then you don't get any service like that. So how to fix that kind of structure discrimination in this kind of government institutes which are supposed to provide the service based on whoever you are. But then they try to discriminate. This is the more important point right now.
Okay, we got the two questions. So one is it's very long. I hope you know what to answer.
Very short answer.
Okay. There you go. Short is good.
Oh, you need to put it on. I took it off because there's.
Yes, there is an African proverb that says, in order to educate a child, you need the whole village. And so it's everyone's responsibility. So voters have the responsibility to try to understand better the political arena, and I think it's more individually than just the political party. So I think it's more the society as well, so the whole village coming to the proverb. So yeah.
I'll really summarize as quickly as I possibly can. My colleagues are correct. Income taxing especially cannot be progressive, it cannot come to the municipal side. But you cannot detach politics from the government politics to the municipal politics, especially in the moment when most of the funding to the municipalities come from the government, right? So you have to consider party politics and party lines, how are this dynamic solved, right? If we continue as is, we will not have enough funds to run public services in healthcare or in schools, just to give an example. If we continue as is, the money is not enough.
In Helsinki, you think so?
In Helsinki is doing, yes I do, because I work in a school and we don't have books. You understand? We don't have books. We are rotating textbooks for 7 years, and we're rotating the books for 7 years, and in exercise books, children are not allowed to write. In a society like Finland, in a Helsinki that is making 200 million profit, we are not providing textbooks and books to children. I think that's completely honest. So we don't have enough money for that. And if we continue like this as is, then this is how it's going to erode, and then services are going to be privatized, and then the rich are going to be serviced, and the middle class are not going to be served. So to put it in very simple terms, I think that's what it's all about. That's what these elections are about.
I kind of disagree, because we're already taxed a lot, progressive taxation for your salary. The companies are taxed. The municipalities are taxing people. The value-added tax of all the products in-house, that was already increased. So how do we, in economics, we need to keep the society running, we need to consume, but if we don't have anything to consume with, then what do? We might have the services, but we can't buy food. So the taxation is interesting question. Let's not go into that. I want to say that municipality politics is very practical as well. It is very practical, and you have really a power to make a choice. And people who are chosen for the municipality council, they are your voice. So you can reach out anytime during the 4 years. You can send emails, you can call, you can tell your troubles, you can tell your problems, and we can try to solve those. We can talk at the municipal meetings, we can bring up stuff, we can bring different questions to the society, the people that work there. We can do stuff. You need to be in touch with us. I've been working in the municipal council now for 4 years. I know that I'm the voice of the people, the residents that are living in Espoo. They call me, they email, we figure out what we can do. And the variety of things that we can do is massive. It's everything to do nature, schools, city planning, parks, forests, racism, integration. It's everything. It's youth to prevent healthcare problems. But it's really, really important to vote.
Thank you. In Nurmijärvi, we have municipality, like in everywhere in Finland now, takes care of this education, schools, infrastructure, streets, and so on. And the healthcare is to, I forget the word. Hyvinvointialue. Welfare county, yes. So they are quite separate. So it's different situation than in Helsinki. But me, I'm a practical nurse and I'm working with the aged people at the moment. I see that there is lack of care. People, they don't care. They don't get the care they need the way they should get. So I think it's the most important always to think that these municipalities and counties, they are for the people, not the people for them. So the services must be done and offered the way to people they need it. Also education.
Thank you. Maybe 3 small points. First of all, SDP has decided the Helsinki budget for this year. We are together in Helsinki with the Greens. Kokoomus, Greens, SDP, Left Alliance is the main parties of Helsinki. We have decided the budget together. All of the SDP councillors have voted for it this year. True Finns are opposition in Helsinki, which is good, which I hope will remain that way. Second of all, I agree that if you don't have books, it's a huge problem. We have to solve it. That's of course we have to solve it. The Helsinki budget is billions, I think around 5 billion or something, the Helsinki budget. We can find money to have books without raising taxes. Because that's, I think, it's a main difference in a big level with which you want to speak about the differences that the parties have. I think the SDP usually have the solution to raise taxes, and Kokoomus say we can do it more efficiently, we can do it in a different way to save money to give the services. So that's the broad, I think, a difference between the parties. But I want to close this good conversation actually with the same that we started with the first candidate. I think your point was that vote. No matter if you vote for me, if you vote for him, if you vote for anybody, but just vote. It's absolutely important to have everybody who lives here to vote in the municipal elections. Thank you.
Right, so with that, our time is up. Unfortunately, this was fun. Yeah, not that much. It was good to hear so many different views. Maybe can you take this one? I mean, give me the other one. Or maybe I can take that one. Right. So I'd like to take a final minute to thank all the gentlemen, ladies, Tarek and Paulina and Vivi and Larry and Armando. You've taken time for us, for this community, and we really appreciate that. And we hope to have more opportunities to discuss with you, and we've learned a lot from you. And we're really thankful that you took the time. Thank you so much. And finally, thank you for all the audience for coming in and taking the time. It's Ramadan, and I know how difficult this is. So thank you, everyone, and I hope this has been a good event for everyone. Thank you so much.